What's up everybody, Super fan here for another car review. This is of course the 2012 Honda Accord V6 Coupe. Huge thanks to South Park Mitsubishi for hooking me up with this very nice Accord Coupe to review for you guys today. So about the Accord Coupe, well, I think it's a cool looking car. It's very sleek and, you know, it's a larger coupe. It's not small or sports car feeling really, but it looks awesome, I think. I love the way the front end is with those sleek headlights, and I think the proportions of the car in general are just very nice. Right, for the interior of the Honda Accord Coupe, it's not bad. So first things first, sitting down in these seats, you know, it's nice leather here, it's comfortable, but the bolstering leaves a lot to be desired. Very wide bolsters. These seats feel like they could be straight out of the regular Accord. Nothing sporty really at all, and the leather likes to squeak. So there's that as well. So not the best seats. Next though is the steering wheel in this car, which is very nice. It's a great wheel and nicely leather wrapped. You have cool little paddle shifters here in the back, and overall it's just, you know, a good 9-3 grip, little tiny 10-2 notches, but the wheel just feels good in your hands, and so I do like the steering wheel in this car a lot. Next is the gauges in the Accord Coupe, which are underwhelming, honestly. They're just kind of plain and boring looking. You just have your basic couple of gauges there, and that's it. So nothing too interesting there. And this theme continues over to the center of the dashboard here, which is, again, this is a 2012. This isn't a brand new car, but the fact that this car just has an old school screen that just gives you your basic radio information and climate information leaves me wanting a little bit. You know, I wish there was something more, and I believe it's an option in a lot of the Accords to have a navigation screen, and you know, so that would be cool. But I mean, considering even the Honda Civic has a much cooler interior layout than this, in my opinion, I just feel like for a more expensive and higher end Honda, it should have a more interesting interior, and that just kind of leaves me with a meh feeling. Coming down though to the controls here for everything, you have to like figure it out for a second because it's a lot of buttons in one little area here, but once you get it figured out, it's not too bad. Storage space though is definitely one of this car's strong suits. So first thing, you have large map pockets here in the doors that unfortunately aren't quite large enough for a bottle holder, but they're close, and but nice pockets in the doors nonetheless. You have two little center console compartments here. One is hidden with a door, the other one is just wide open, and they're both very large and deep, and you can fit lots of stuff in those. Then down here you have another little storage compartment, which is kind of like an ashtray of sorts, because right next to it you have your cigarette lighter, aka power outlet, which is right there, and so lots of storage spaces there. You have your two cup holders that have little rubberized things to keep your drinks in line, and then you have this center console, which by the way is very nice and soft, and it's like pillow soft. Like you could rest your elbow on here all day without any issues. So that is awesome. But your center console here is pretty deep. You can fit lots of good stuff in there. You have a power outlet, auxiliary, and USB jacks are found there as well. Backseat space in the Honda Accord Coupe is probably the best out of any coupe I've ever reviewed. It's extremely spacious, and again, once again, I'm 5'9". Me sitting behind myself, I have several inches of legroom there. I actually have a few inches of headroom even, which is bizarre for a coupe, but it's actually very roomy. And I mean, it's, you know, it's still kind of a pain to, you know, push the seat forward here to get in there all the time. But this is a coupe you could actually seat 4 people in comfortably every day, which is a very rare thing. Normally coupes are not comfortable for rear seat occupants, but this one, they even have cup holders and everything else. So a very nice back seat. And the whole idea of roominess is one that's definitely apparent in this whole car in the cabin. Everything, it's very roomy, it's very airy feeling. This one has the moonroof, which adds to that, but it's you know, the windshield is far away from you, there's lots of space, and everything is just, there's lots of room everywhere, and so it definitely feels very spacious in here. Trunk space in the Accord is also very good. You know, it's right up there with some of the best. It's a very large, wide opening, and you can fit a good amount of stuff in there. Definitely plenty for 2 people, and possibly even more. Alright, so start up and go for a drive. You have your basic Honda key fob here that, you know, has all the buttons built into the key, and slip it in, starts right up. Alright, so setting off in the 2012 Honda Accord V6 Coupe. So first thing you notice is, again, this cabin is so airy. There's so much glass and you can see everything so well. You just feel almost like you're driving around in a bubble. Not quite, but it's very airy in that way. And so because of that, visibility is very good. You have a hood that drops down very nicely. The dashboard sits up a little bit high though, so that impedes your vision a little bit, but overall, very good view forward. Side windows are huge, so you have very good view in the sides there, and the B-pillar is nice and far back there, so it actually never really gets in the way, which is nice. And being a coupe, sometimes coupes, you know, your view over your shoulder isn't the best, but with this there's large rear windows as well, so you can see over your shoulder very well. And rear glass is very slanted, but you can see out of that just fine as well. On this bumpy park road though, the ride is very smooth and comfortable, and you know, I kind of expected that out of a coupe version of the Honda Accord, and you know, it hasn't let me down. It's very comfortable and smooth, and overall it's actually pretty quiet in here too. A little bit earlier I was driving on some roads, it was a little bit noisy, but cruising along right now it's actually nice and quiet in here. Alright, so the roads are still a little bit damp, but I'm going to put the transmission into sport mode, and let's turn onto this back road here and see how it does. Okay, so it pulls pretty well. So we're dealing with this 3.5 liter V6 engine that is 271 horsepower and 254 pounds-feet of torque, which aren't enormous numbers, but get this thing going down the road pretty well. Coming up to some corners here, and let's see about this handling. Pretty good. Okay, so one thing though, this steering is too late and it's too rubbery. I'm like, it just does not give me a lot of confidence, and I wish that the wheel was beefier feeling, but yeah, it's just a little too loose, a little too relaxed. Everything needs to be tightened up a little bit, I think. Tight corner I always take here. Body roll, yeah, it's got some body roll and feels kind of big and heavy a little bit. Not super bad. I mean, it's fairly sharp, but not the best out there. Let's see about this power again, shall we? Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. It's enough to kind of put you back in your seat, but nothing mind-blowing, I'd say, but not bad. Just cruising along though on this main road now, and you know, it's a very nice car. One thing I'll say, there's a good amount of tire noise here at higher speeds that I've noticed, but aside from that, you know, it's pretty nice, and it's a good car to just cruise around in, and it gives you a nice feeling just with all this glass and just being kind of airy in the way that it feels. It's a nice grand tourer. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting from this. Definitely not a performance vehicle. I mean, it's front wheel drive, it's larger, heavier, but it's a nice grand tour for someone that wants a sporty looking and somewhat sporty driving, you know, coupe. I think this is a really great option. I think a manual would make it more fun, of course, but even with the manual, I feel like you still have the same size and the same weight and power to deal with. But overall, it's not bad. I'm going to drive this car around though for a while longer here, and I'll come back and give you some updated impressions. Alright, so I've been driving this car for a while now, and I'm like, it's really just not doing it for me. I gotta be honest. I'm trying to feel some emotion towards this car, and it's just like, I'm just coming up with nothing. See, like, the crazy thing is I wanted to review this car because so many people used to message me and saying they were cross-shopping this with like BRZs and FRSs and other performance-oriented cars, and a lot of people requested this car, and I was like, well, maybe I'm missing something, because to me it just seems like a normal Honda Accord family sedan that they just hacked two doors off of, and that's really how it feels driving it now. I mean, the Honda Accord is a good car. It's a good, reliable, you know, source of transportation for millions of people. But it's not a very exciting car to drive, and so it doesn't really help the coupe. The coupe isn't any different to me. It's just not very exciting. And I don't know. I mean, one thing I can say is the stereo in this car is really nice, and it has great bass and good thump, and it's a good sound experience. So again, this is a good car for those that just want to cruise, relax, and something comfortable. this is a great car for that kind of stuff. Not a sporty car by any means, I wouldn't say. I mean, obviously it handles itself okay. There's much better stuff out there for the money though, and there's much better Hondas. I mean, Honda makes so many fun cars. I think if you want an exciting Honda, you'd be better off buying yourself a brand new Civic Si. Any of the Civic Si's are great, old or new. Honda S2000s, and I mean, Honda's gonna be coming out with so many more fun cars, it looks like, in the future as well. And so I mean, Honda makes great cars. They make a lot of fun cars, but this is not one of them in my opinion. And so yeah, I know it might be a disappointment to some of you that have been requesting this, but yeah, I'm trying to find more, but there's nothing more there. It's just a nice, comfortable commuter car. That's really all I'm feeling towards it. I mean, obviously, I would rather take the coupe over the sedan just for the sake of the cooler styling, the more aggressive styling. And these back seats, like I said, they're plenty roomy for, fitting 2 people back there, even on a fairly regular basis. I don't think people are going to complain hopping back there too often. So it's great for that use. I would take it over a regular Accord sedan for sure. But beyond that, there's much better things for your money. Even if you want a roomy, comfortable coupe, there's lots of other alternatives. I mean, you can even go with any of the 3 muscle cars. I know I'm biased with my Mustang and whatnot, but not even that, but the Challenger even is, I think, a more exciting car to drive, and cooler looking, still very spacious and roomy and large, if that's the thing you're going for. This just is not doing it. It's not really that fast. Doesn't handle that great. One other thing I forgot to mention is the paddle shifters in this car. So it's an automatic transmission, standard old school automatic with paddles. I mean, it holds gears in the sport manual mode, but I mean, the shifts are very slow as well, so forget about even really shifting it yourself. I mean, you can, but it's not very fun because you hit the paddle and then you wait a second or two and then it shifts. So yeah, not trying to be a downer in this review. I really was optimistic because so many people seemed really excited about these cars, but just not doing it for me whatsoever. But anyway, huge thanks to South Park Mitsubishi for hooking me up with this car to review for you guys today. This car is for sale on their lot, so if you're interested in it, definitely check out the links in the description and give them a call, and they'd love to help you out. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Take care.